What is up guys, Speed here, and today we are back with another Guess the Rank. I'm very excited because we're going to be doing a ton of replays for this one, all of them coming from you guys, so I'm very excited to be doing this. Also, we reached 150,000 subscribers here on the YouTube channel, and I will hopefully be doing something special for that, so keep your eyes on the YouTube community tab for a post about that. But getting into the first clip of the video, we have Percival on the Naga Siren. This game is going super late, and let's kind of see how you play it. So the first thing I notice about your build is that you still have boots in your inventory, and it's like quite late game. Not that I think it's awful, because you know, boots are very important for getting around the fight, but I do think that something like a Bloodthorn could be very deadly at this stage of the game. Regardless, let's see how you play this fight. So one thing I noticed is that you have the Ag Synth. We'll see if that comes into play. Okay, you're getting jumped on. I mean, it's definitely going to help you here if you can get it off. You don't. Alright, most likely going to have to commit your buyback. Okay, you do. Oh, and you instantly go top. You know, I do think that was very heads up. I mean, they still can go into your base just because of the bottom creep waves, so that maybe it wasn't the best decision, only for that reason. But I think that heads-upness about waves is a high MMR characteristic, so pretty impressive, even though if it wasn't, you know, necessarily perfect. But regardless, they did force the buyback out of you. Even with this bots, I almost feel like having a late-game Linken's maybe could be an option if this OD Hex is, like, literally the only threat to you other than Global, which you have Manta for. So not a huge fan of the bots, only because it's so late into the game with Naga, but regardless, move on. And coming up here, we have one of the last fights. Okay, so you see the smoke coming in. That's really good minimap awareness, because you didn't actually see silencers, so I'm glad about that. I think you should pop your E a bit earlier here. I have a bit issue with this positioning. So you know they're smoked from the bottom side, right? And that means that as an illusion hero, like if you're a PL, it doesn't matter, like Naga, whatever it is, you don't want people to know which one is your main hero, so you walking in so casually here is potentially very game losing, right? Because this OD now should know who he can hex. I don't know if he does or not. I don't, obviously, we'll see, but you gotta be careful about that. Alright, he does let you get it off, which was a mistake on his part. Regardless, we'll see how the fight plays out. Okay, I mean, this target party's alright. You did get this BKB to help deal with it. Okay, you take it, okay. Just a bit of criticism. So I'm going to slow this down. This is in normal speed. I just want to show it kind of takes you a bit long to use your Q here. It wasn't that long. I just want to make it clear that the like highest MMR players you'll see will have very little to no delay time in spellcasting like that, and you do end up going down. So overall, I think your spellcasting needs to be sped up a little bit, and you need to be a lot more careful about who gets the jump. Big black hole though. Ooh, is that going to turn things around? Looks like it. And looks like that's kind of how the game ends. So I mean, thank you for sending a losing replay. Interesting to start with a loss. I think the main reasons you lost were primarily, I would say, item decisions. And then secondary to that, I would say your positioning is not the best. So I'm going to go with Legend 6. Alright, turns out you were actually Ancient 3. Now, I think if there's one thing to take out of that replay, guys, it's his ability to kind of see the creep waves in a generally better light, but be careful about those items and positioning decisions. Alright, for this clip, we are going to be looking at Please Be Nice on the Undying. This is going to hopefully be a good clip. We're going to be seeing a dive momentarily, and I guess when you're looking at dives for a 5-player, it's very important that you're looking at how they cast their spells, so that's what I'm going to be doing in particular here. So they're just setting up for this tower, which I'm cool with. It seems like his Void, he won the Void's lane, right? So it's kind of okay for him to make a rotation at this point. He's also pretty strong with the Max Soul Rip. My main issue here, so I see you put up this Tombstone, and that's great and all. My issue is like, are these your 2 strongest spells? My opinion is not really. Now, I'm okay with you throwing up the Tombstone right away to get more zombies, meaning that Soul Rip is more effective. That's fine. But my issue is if you continue to look at the fight, you don't cast Decay or Soul Rip until like 2 seconds in. Actually, you don't even get off Soul Rip until the end of the Winter's Curse. That is a massive issue. If you were an Undying player or even a CM, Dazzle, doesn't matter. Get your stuff off cooldown. Crystal Nova, if it's maxed out, off cooldown. Shadow Wave, off cooldown. Like, this is just, it's so important. It's so important. There's nothing else for me to say. It's going to kill your enemy and keep you alive because they'll be dead. You have to get your best spells off cooldown, because now it's definitely been 6 seconds. This would be your second Soul Rip, and you'd kill Wyvern right now. Does it change anything? No, it does not, because this fight was very convincing. It was a good collapse on the tower. However, it will definitely make your Weaver take more damage, right? Maybe he would be at 500, 600 HP. And if Tinker TP'd in earlier, or the Night Stalker, or the Jakiro, it could have been the difference in the fight. Alright, next up, I want to look at a couple small things. First off, we're going to look at talents. I'm a bit confused on why you didn't take the 10 cast range. So I want to make something clear about cast range. Cast range on supports is effectively HP. So CM has this dilemma at level 10 where it's cast range or HP. And the reason why I think cast range is always better is not only will it allow you to catch out your opponents from further away and deal more damage, but it also prevents you from getting hit by random AoE spells, like Shadow Wave, or, a Wyvern Q, or a Jakiro Q, or Rocket Barrage. It doesn't matter what it is. It allows you to stay back in the fight, making it effectively HP or HP regen. So yes, I would always take cast range on a hero like Undying, who is very reliant on his spells to have impact in fights. In addition, I'm not a huge fan of this build in general. I think these stat items and the 4-stat, fantastic. I couldn't ask for more. The mana boost is a bit confusing to me. It's just 900 gold. Why? That's half of a Glimmer Cape. And I notice you have 4,000 gold saved up. 4,000? What? Like, I don't even know that many position 5s that Undyings that get 4,000 gold in a fight. Like, that's unheard of. Why are you not spending it? You don't need Guardian Greaves. Just buy a Glimmer Cape and then, when you're getting towards the Greaves, then buy components for, buy the Buckler and then get into the mech. Don't save this much gold. In addition, I notice you have no detection, which could punish if they have a Glimmer. They do, and you have no detection. You don't need a Stout Shield. It's 35 minutes into the game, brother. There's 3 wars in stock, 10 sentries. Come on. This is, you genuinely cannot do this. If you're a 5 player, I'm all for greed, but it's relative greed, right? You still have to buy all the wars and the sentries. The greed that I like to talk about, that I emphasize, is typically the greed of pushing in waves when your cores aren't doing it. Other than that, nah, you can't do this. Now let's talk about the fight. First thing I noticed is you ulti very early. That is good. And you put down the tombstone early. Also fine. It could have been positioned maybe to the left here so that it would affect these backliners earlier on. Other than that, I'm not going to complain too much. The main thing I see here that is also an issue with what you did earlier is your relative positioning and how long it takes you to cast spells. The Soul Rip, fine there, good. The Decay though, it's legitimately taking you 0.5 to a second too long to cast all your spells. In Dota, and the higher and higher you get, the more that matters. Why? Because now all of a sudden, instead of being able to cast it and disengage out and wait for your next set of cooldowns, you're running in at the gyro. And you could be like, well, this is going to force a BKB. Should it have forced a BKB? Not at all, really. You're actually of close to no threat to him, considering all your stuff was off cooldown. The only thing that he has to be afraid of is the health decay, which does matter. But you have to be careful because you're taking a lot of unnecessary damage is my problem. Your positioning is making you, no one on the enemy team targeted you, correct? Maybe the gyro for a second. Why did you take 3,000 damage? Because you went in too deep, didn't get your spells off cooldown, and then kited in instead of necessarily kiting out. And you might be like, well, Speed, he's an Undying. Trust me, even Undying in the late game, you're no longer that same brute. You need to be a bit careful and still go for those outside-ish targets and more so play around your cooldowns. But other than that, you end up winning the game. 13-4, looks like you crushed your laning stage, so props to you. And now I'm going to guess your rank. So I think your general item build and spellcasting gives me vibes of a legend-ish. It seems like you really crushed your lane, which gives me ancient-ish vibes. So I'm going to say somewhere in the middle of that, I'm going to go for Ancient 1. Okay, Divine 1. Now, I think if I watched your laning stage, I really would have been pushed towards it. So maybe I should have done that, because if there's one thing to look at for Undying, it's his laning stage, because that dictates the rest of the game for this hero. Because I think your spellcasting has a lot of room to go, I'm gonna be honest. Was it good, and did you get all your spells off cooldown? Yes, and that's already better than 90% of players. But the other half is it's taking you a bit too long, and your positioning is generally it's there, but not fully calculated in my opinion. Alright, for this next clip, we're going to be looking at Mink Blanket on the Abaddon offlane, and first thing I have to notice, there's literally no way for me not to notice this, your item build. Brother, where did you get this? Where did you find this build? I don't understand. I get the concept, right? It's okay, I'm gonna hit people for Avernus, might as well slow them and bash them, right? No. It's just a bad concept. I could go into depths about explaining, but let's just get into the clip. You need things like wand and drums and Vlads and pipe. They're much more cost effective and better for your hero. Regardless, let's look at it. So it looks like you guys are quite deep right now. Your team's not really in position, and I don't really see a great reason for you guys to be here. Regardless, looks like you're doing a pretty good job of saving your IO here. I'm glad that you're casting your spells on him. What goes down, though? Oh, Miscoil IO. Miscoil IO. Miscoil? Dude! Okay, you didn't cast your spells. Not optimal. You do get on top of Storm and shred him with this build, so, never mind. I respect the drip now. Your build's lit. But I'm kidding. I'm still not that big of a fan. Regardless, looks like you're kind of running them over. Did you do anything special there? I'm not going to lie. I could be the nice guy and be like, wow, well played, but really you kind of just auto-attacked and miscasted your spells. But regardless. Oh no, you are not buying a Sanjay Nasha. No. Okay, next clip. Alright, never mind guys. We're all safe. He bought a Manta. I was very concerned. I was very, very concerned. No, it was a Manta. Of course, that's so much better. Regardless, looks like you're sieging high ground. I understand the point of the Manta. It does silence everyone. Kind of shreds the storm there, so... Hey, man. You know how it works. The overcharge with IO is actually insane. The attack speed you get, this combo is quite nuts, so... Respect for playing this. I'm guessing this is your friend or something like that. I don't know, maybe not, but looks good to me. Other than that, like, I don't even know what to say. You said, like... Okay, I'm going to really look at the micro movements and positioning and such to really get a good feel. That shield was a lot better. Okay, you're running in. I mean, can't say much about your target priority. It took you like 0.5 to a second too long to cast that miscoil, so there we go. Got you on something. This is a bit deep, not going to lie. I mean, you're destroying them, but... Okay, the Manta was unnecessary. Rampage? Come on, you gotta dive. Oh. No, dude! Okay. Funny thing is, you sent this in. I know this for a fact. Don't lie to me. You sent this in, and you were expecting me to say, like, this guy's mortal for sure. I caught you. I can see your movements and your spellcasting. You had a good game, alright? Not to make you feel bad. I'm not saying this in a negative context, but I'm gonna have to guess a bit lower. You did crush. I have to go with Legend 2, though. Legend 2. Crusade. Alright, oh, you got me. See, I knew this was a really good game where things weren't necessarily... Your item build is so bad, alright? If you were thinking right now, ha, I got you speed, I knew I'm better than my rank. No! No! Alright? Your item build's very questionable. Your spellcasting needs a bit of work, but in all honesty, I like your combo, and you did crush this game, so... Alright, for this next clip, we're going to be following Be Nice to Your Team. I love the PMA, man, so thank you for submitting your clip. I love the PMA. But apparently we're looking at some Spectre team fighting. We'll have to see how it plays out. You don't have Haunt currently up. Your item build is also very interesting. It doesn't... Okay, you get chronoed. Were you dead? You look dead. Oh, asleep. Oh, no? Oh, okay, no, you're dead. Haunt buyback, though. You do have Haunt buyback. This is something I see in pro matches where they'll literally intentionally kill the Spectre just to Haunt buyback. Alright, and it's gonna happen. I mean, I like the targeting there. Good synergy with your tiny avalanche. Running a bit deep. Will you stay alive, though? Okay, you kind of got to kite out here. Uh-oh. Oh. Okay, I think your movement there was like a 7 out of 10. That's what I'll give it. Now you daggered through. Yeah, not bad. My only issue, if we go back a bit, just to quickly cover it, is your movement here wasn't really deceptive at all. It was just very predictable. And I understand you could maybe make the argument like, hey, well, I'm a Spectre, I should go in. But in general here, your dagger's off cooldown, right? Like, don't run at this guy yet. Only because your team's not in position either, right? You should have been playing for your next dagger and kind of kiting out a bit, in my opinion. And then, then have daggered here and being able to reinitiate. You do get saved by these Glimmer Capes, so respect to whoever bought that. I don't know who it was. Zeus or something? Tiny with the Glimmer? Oh, I love this guy. But let's get into the next clip. Alright, looks like you guys were trying to take Roche. Good setup onto this axe. Once again, I think your attention to your teammates is pretty nice. Once again, this build is very interesting to me. Does it make some sense? Wow, really good attention to detail. I almost feel like you have a hack pack on, because this is pretty good. Like, I think you're looking at your minimap very cleanly, and the lack of hesitation on these jumps is very high skill, so respect to that for sure. And, okay, gonna keep going now. Yeah, that was nice, though. Honestly, I'm not just saying that, guys. Like, really look at that clip again and be like, hey, am I jumping that fast? Am I hesitating? Because if you are, it's actually a big reason why people get held back. They overthink things, but he's just going in and jumping who his team's jumping. And that coordination and synergy is huge. It's huge. Oh, the double cataclysm. Manta's out. I mean, Satanic put in work there for sure. And looks like that's going to be the end of the game. Okay. Yeah, I think you played this pretty well. Once again, the item build confuses me a bit. I can't say I've played that many games of Spectre, so I don't know for sure. But your movement and attention to the minimap has been very impressive, so I'm going to say Divine 1. This Tiny's item build is also... It's kind of gross, but at the same time... Legend 3? Really? Really? I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. You're not Legend. Your attention is way too good to be Legend 3. I think... Wait, we're doing a deep dive, guys. We're doing a deep search. 723 matches? Level 42? I don't know, man. All I'm gonna say... I don't know. Alright, up next we have Kintaro Stylebender. Very interesting name. guessing this is some anime thing I don't understand. Looks like you absolutely crushed the mid lane, so props to that. The Monkey King Ember matchup is not as favorable as you may think, but looks like you did win it, so very, very good. Now you're making a rotation off the haste rune, which I really like. I enjoy watching mid laners rotate based on haste runes, and yeah, I like that you're behind this arc ward. You're not positioning in front of him, which is great because it's going to allow for that stun. Beautiful stun. Yeah, you're playing this really well, and in addition, I super like your item build. Just clean overall, so really nice start. Alright, coming up next we have another fight. First off, I like that you're having a lot of attention to creep waves. Like guys, I just have to point this out. Creep waves really define, like when I see someone's attention to creep waves or lack of attention, it just defines how good they are to me, and really straightforward. You simply nuking this, even though it does commit your boundless strike, which is it's like kind of meh, especially considering you have the primal spring talent. I understand it was on cooldown, but yeah, overall, that attention to the waves, big for me. Coming up next for the fight, it seems like you're running in here. Your confidence seemingly is predicated off the BKB, but BKB seems a bit forced. Not sure how much I like that. Oof, okay, that was not so good. Yeah, this is weird to me because, man, I'm really confused. Because a lot of the things that you're doing seem very high skill to me. That was a bit weird. I'm not going to lie. Also, your item build is a bit confusing, but we're going to move on to the next clip. Alright, next clip here, we're going to see the typical Monkey King approach. Like, the last fight was a bit weird, only because you sort of just walked in the front. Usually, you don't see Monkey Kings do that. Typically, they approach from more so of this angle. So, you're being a bit patient here. I'm glad that you're being patient. I think typically people force it a bit hard, especially if they're looking for a good ulti. Okay, boy gets off a chrono, you're going to follow it up. That's a beautiful setup, so, you know, good heads-up play, good heads-up stun. In general, that's a pretty solid ulti. That's typically what you want to look for on Monkey King. It's totally zoning out the enemy as well. Like, the Arc Warden couldn't get into the fight at all because of it. So that was pretty nice. We'll continue to see how you play it out. I'm glad that you didn't rush your BKB as well. That seemed like a generally reasonable time to use it. Alright, and you're going to kite out. That was good. Alright guys, I want to make sure you all understand why that was very good. So his ultimate was generally good. Did he play it perfect? I don't know for sure, but his ultimate was generally good. He didn't get his BKB forced too early, which sometimes is the case, but basically he didn't panic. Even though his BKB was still up, he ran away understanding that his team was dying. Sometimes people tunnel vision and they don't even understand that their team is dead and they keep running in. Not the case for this player though, so I'm going to have to guess pretty high MMR. This is, I'm going to say that this is Divine 5 or low Immortal. I'm guessing 2, back off. Divine 2, okay. Yeah, I don't know too much to say. I feel like the MKB is maybe a bit meh, but I understand its value against the potential Arc Ward and bubbles, so I don't know. I'm going to say that makes sense. Oh, okay, you're Platinum tier Monkey King. I didn't notice that. You do play a lot of Monkey King, but yeah, a lot of good things to take out there, guys, so hopefully you understand why I guess so high. Alright, next up on the list, we have suicidal Q times. I'm really sorry to hear that, man. I hope you're not actually suicidal, but first off, what I want to say is I really like your item build. This is one of my personal favorites. I love Veil on Ember, big fan of the Radiance, and then you took the Flame Guard DPS of 15, which I'm also a big fan of. So, okay, first off, you were going ham to catch this SF. This is like some Moto G stuff right here. Alright, regardless, going in. Didn't pop the BKB too early. Okay, maybe I have to take it back. So currently, you're not BKB. This is a bug. We'll see when you actually pop it. Was it necessary is my question, because sometimes players panic and they overpop BKB. My issue is nothing was slowing you or threatening you there, so there's no reason to BKB. That's my issue. Could you argue that you were getting Nether Ward mana burned? Yes, but I don't think that's good enough, so regardless, I think you're using it too early there for no reason, and this Remnant usage it's very undiligent. It's kind of like, it's like some 360 no-scope in Call of Duty, where it's like, okay, it looks cool, but is it really practical? I don't know, not really. Regardless, I like that you kite out here. This is generally good, but the problem is, like, right now, you'd want to consider, like, BKB going in here, right? Or, like, right about, oh, what a 4-staff. Wow. Okay. In general, I like that you cut it back overall there. I think your overall spellcasting is that of a pretty confident Ember Spirit player, so we'll move on to the next clip. Alright, looks like a pretty big fight breaking out here. We'll see how you cast your spells. Looks like, in general, the enemy team doesn't threaten you too much, so it's good that you kill the Wind Ranger, because she is the only stun that actually can threaten you out, unless they have some Hex I don't know about, which it seems like they do not. Once again, though, this BKB, was it too early? I have to keep asking this question, because it's really crucial here. You super need it later in the fights. Because right here, nothing is really threatening you and you just BKB, you know what I mean? It's like, why? You have to be able to ask yourself that question. Just why? Because I don't see why. Like, you didn't... It's not like you were about to get stunned, hexed, the Spectre was not on you, Undying was not on you, and now it's out and you're going in, right? You needed it then, not at the beginning of that. Also, now you get shackled, right? Which almost kills you. You don't die again. But, like, I need you... Brother, because I see the type of player you are, and you might be like, you don't know me, Speed. No, I know you, okay? I know you. You go in really hard, and then you complain that your team is not backing you up. Maybe I am totally wrong, but that's the vibe I'm getting. You need to chill a bit, not panic, and don't make the fights so complex. A lot of high-tier Ember Spirit play, it actually can look really slow. On the contrary, it can look very, very slow. And you might be like, are they slow? No, it's just calculated. So yeah, I'm going to have to guess a bit on the lower end. I like the item build, and your general movement's okay, but the BKBs give me this bad vibe. I'm gonna have to say, I want to say Ancient for certain aspects, but then like Legend in terms of the positioning. Man, this... I'm gonna have to go Legend 5. That's my final guess. Hey man, you know what? This build is definitely worthy of rank 1500. I genuinely apologize. I'm a huge fan of your build. I just think that one thing you need to work on in order to actually get to the next level is look at something like an Ana replay and see how unpanicky, like, I don't even know how else to put it. See how calm, cool, and collected they are. How they go mode CCNC, because that's what you need. You're all over the place, and it's confusing me, and I think it's confusing yourself as well. Alright, next up, we're going to be looking at Big Fat B on the mid Kunkka. First thing, I can't ignore it. You rush to Daedalus. Why? If you play Kunkka a lot, you begin to understand that, like, this hero can play faster than most heroes in Dota. Your cooldowns are low. They got nerfed recently, but they're still super low, and you're so tanky. It's unbelievably hard to play against Kunkka in the early game. So my question is, like, why don't you have, like, a wand? Or a spear vessel? Or an armlet, or a shadow blade, or even just go the Radiance build? I think there's a reason why, like, if you watch Pro Kunkkas, you haven't seen a Daedalus rush in about, like, 2 years. Alright, I think there's a good reason for that. That's the first thing I want to say. But regardless, we'll see how you play this fight. Looks like it's kind of kiting out. You do get vesseled. Okay, so your teammate was buying one, but still not an argument to buy a Daedalus. Your kiting out is generally good here. Okay, going for the... I like that you're not running in necessarily right away. You are low, so I'm glad that you're kind of picking and choosing your Tiebringers. Might look for one here. Yeah, that was good. Gonna kite out again? Nice. I think this kiting out is generally good. You're looking for Tiebringers rather than running in. Probably gonna go for another Tiebringer here. Nice. That was clean, for sure. Like, you're playing around the Daedalus build well, but hopefully you can see how the Daedalus build, it doesn't even give you that much more damage, because you can't actually run in and auto-attack people, and you also cannot tank damage for your team. You can't auto-attack people, and it doesn't actually amplify damage, so I'm gonna have to deduct some points from your overall score. Also, I have another slight issue here. I definitely think your CS is a bit low. Like, this isn't abysmal by any means. It's totally fine considering I'm assuming you've been fighting a ton. But at the same time, like, Kunkka just has such good wave clear and ability to just wipe through jungle camps that sometimes it's a bit hard for me to, like, accept the low number on a hero like this. Or, you know, a slightly low number. Also, it is 32 minutes and you have no BKB, is all I'm going to say. It's late and you don't have BKB on Kunkka, which is a big question mark to me. Alright, we'll see how you play the fight regardless, though. Going into the Torrent here. Okay. Oh, you missed the Tidebringer. Your camera's a bit off. Like, on Kunkka, your camera movement is so important because I genuinely cannot see who I'm trying to Tidebringer. This is wasted space. Unless you're arguing that you need to see Jug flanking you, which you should just be looking at the minimap for. I need to see who's in front of me, right? Like, you don't need to move it back here because now I can't see who I'm trying to Tidebringer. I can't see. And as a result, I think it's why you sort of miss it. It was kind of the creep movement, but in general, I prefer to see, you know, who I'm going for. Alright, you missed the Torrent. This isn't your best showing. I'm not gonna lie. You guys win the fight. I think if there's anything I could give you props to, I did briefly watch your laning stage, and there's a lot of good qualities there, so props, but I'm gonna have to guess a lot lower. I want to say, like, Legend 1 because of some of the movements, but I'm gonna have to guess a bit lower than that. Hopefully I'm not... Oof, God. I'm gonna have to go for Archon 5. That's my final guess. Archon 5. Dude, I'm so off. Alright, this player is Ancient 1. My man, dude, I'm so sorry. But how are you Ancient 1 and buying these items? How? No one better than you has done this in a long time. Why are you doing it? And now you could be like, I hate the system. Like, I don't think they're better than me. Okay, fine. That's just ridiculous, though. Please, once again, I'm not trying to, like, make you feel bad. Understand that this build has been outdated for a while. It's a large reason of why I feel like those fights weren't that great. You didn't get your BKB until 32 minutes in, which is just so bad against this team. Like, Radiance, it's an Evoker, Skywrath, Sand King, even Juggernaut is a hero that hates BKBs to a large extent, because he does, like, especially with this Diffusal build, he needs to actually burn mana and slow you. So please, for my sake, buy different items. Alright, and for the last clip of the day, we have Woodwaka on the axe. So it looks like you crushed your lane, and are about to get ganked, so you get set up by Disruptor. Seems like you don't really care. I mean, I can see why you'd run at this guy. Okay. It looks like you end up dying here. I mean, unless you make some miraculous play. No, you end up dying. Okay, so if you go back and look at that, I understand why this happens, and let me explain it to you guys. So, previous to this clip, me showing it, he killed the Jug, okay? So, you kill the Jug, right? That's great. You're crushing him. I think it's cool that you're still playing top. The thing is, right now, after you get this kill, what the best players will always do is they'll immediately shift their focus back onto the map. 100% of the time. Focus back on the map. Why? Because when you dive someone, 9 times out of 10, the enemy team's going to react. Especially if it's 11 minutes in and you were underneath their tier 2 tower. That is a really common thing to have happen, where you're going to get ganked. So, how could you predict this? Well, if your eyes are on the map right now, what you will see is that Pangolier and Disruptor are missing, and then OD goes off the map, which immediately has to say to you, I could get ganked. And then once this guy shows up, you have to say, I'm probably getting ganked, right? It goes from could, based on the minimap, which I don't know if you're looking at, to I am probably. And then once this Pango shows up, you're going to say, I am getting ganked. And I don't mind you even running down here. I also don't think this death is the end of the world. But was it avoidable? Yes. Okay, so you end up buying yourself a ward. I just want to point this out. Props to you. All I'm going to say. I didn't even know that this was part of the thing. Props to you. I love when people buy wards. Seems like it's going to get dewarded though. But regardless, I like the initiative, is what I will say. Alright, coming up, we have another fight here. Now, I just want to pause and talk about Axe in general. This hero is very difficult at times because you have a lot of options, right? It's like, okay, I could Battle Hunger to start. I could just call the first person I see. I could wait and call 2 people. This one was not your best option. I actually had not watched this previously, and I did not know that was going to happen. But you have to be very careful about things like this. The initial call is the most important call. So more often than not, when you have a lot of vision, I'd rather some patience. Now, if you were smoke ganked and you bump into someone, do not hesitate. Go in. But here, right, if we're playing this in just normal speed, you sort of hesitate a bit. And then you get hit by this Pango Ball, which causes you to get heals up. And you don't have a kite item, right? I would probably prefer to see you have some Yules here or Force Staff, maybe even Shadow Blade to get in and out. But I do understand your build. Regardless, you're running away, which I like. What an awful Omni Slash. That is very bad. Why are you running away, though? This is not good. Omni Slash has been committed. OD is getting gone on. Pango has no ulti. Why are you running away? They have nothing left. And this is a very hard thing to understand in Dota. It's like tracking spells. It's something that just comes to practice and experience, but like this is such a good call with all these creeps around. I mean, not to say you necessarily need the damage, but obviously it would be a good thing. So yeah, it just took you a bit. You do go back in, great, but it took you a bit, which is usually a sign of, it's not a sign of anything I should say. It's an area for improvement for a lot of players of being able to identify when they need to go in and out, kind of like that Monkey King from a few clips ago. And yeah, that's going to be it. So I'm going to be guessing my last rank. Based on your fairly low CS earlier and kind of the lack of map awareness, I'm going to have to guess a bit on the lower side. Also, I notice it's 29 minutes in and you only have 183 CS on Axe. You can get this at like 20 and you were really far ahead. So now you might be like, well, Speed, he was probably ganking. Your numbers are really low if you were ganking. Like 4-2. Maybe it just wasn't a lot of kills. It wasn't, but still. If you want to have more impact, you should push in a lot more lanes, is what I'll say. To just keep it simple. That's a hard thing to make general about, but push in lanes. That should be a big goal for you. But yeah, I'm going to have to guess Ancient 2. Legend 4. Okay. Yeah, honestly, the first number that came into my head was like Legend 5. I decided to guess up because I was consistently, and I mean consistently, under-guessing these clips. So I decided to guess a bit higher. But yes, hopefully you understand maybe a couple of things you have to improve upon. Woodwaka. But thank you guys for submitting your clips. This has been a very fun episode of Guess the MMR. Hopefully you've enjoyed it just as much as I have. And if you did, please do like and subscribe to help our channel grow. And of course, I hope to see you in the next video. Peace! Are you tired of being hard stuck at your rank? Over at GameLeap.com, we have a library of hundreds of guides authored by pro players and coaches covering literally every aspect of Dota. Whether you're looking to master a new hero or role, or just polish up your existing skills, GameLeap is the proven place for competitive gamers to hone their craft and unlock their secret potential. Hit the link on screen right now to take advantage of our special offer for a 25% discount, guys. 25%, and start your journey today.